Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Tonight for dinner we're going to do a Mediterranean themed meal, and so I'm actually going to start prepping now in the morning. I got a piece of meat and I want to marinate that until later this evening. So let me show you the ingredients that I'm going to use. The rest of the meal is going to be a cabbage and parsley salad. I might make tabbouleh, haven't 100% decided on it yet. I will be doing a flatbread and some tzatziki sauce, which is cucumber and yogurt. I am doing everything from scratch. Okay, so to marinate the meat, I'm going to be using some olive oil, balsamic, Worcestershire sauce, Tamari. My herbs are going to be oregano, thyme, and rosemary. I have a really large lemon, but this is only half of it. I'm going to use some zest as well as the juice, and then a few garlic cloves and a little bit of salt. Okay, so we're going to start with olive oil. I have a little over a pound of meat, and I'm not going to have exact measurements, but I am going to show you what I add. So I have my olive oil. We're going to do a little bit of Worcestershire. I'm using Tamari, but you can use soy sauce as well. That's what I have, and it's kind of what I prefer, actually. I'm going to do some balsamic as well. This is more of a syrupy consistency, but that's what I got. I need to get some regular balsamic, and then some salt, pepper. We're gonna do lemon zest. Okay, and then the juice. And then I don't like fresh oregano, so I'm using dried, and I like to crush it in my palm. And then I'm going to add my garlic cloves. I just crushed them, and I roughly chopped the stems of the other herbs, the thyme and the rosemary. And I'm just going to mix this. You don't want a lot of acid in here. You don't want to cook the meat with the acid. So my ratio right now, I would say, is maybe 60% olive oil and the rest, no. So go ahead and stir this up, and then I'm going to show you how I prep the meat. So to make for easy cleanup later, I've gone ahead and I did rinse the meat. I've patted it dry, and I'm putting it in a Ziploc container that's gonna sit in a glass dish or just another dish, because it will go back in the fridge. But if it leaks by any chance, the dish is there to kind of protect it. And then I'm just gonna dump all of this in. Seal it up, and then massage it a little bit before you put it back in your refrigerator. I'm going to do this for maybe like half a minute, and then it'll be ready when I'm ready for it later. The other thing you can do throughout the day, is just turn it over every so often while it marinates. So the next thing that I want to prepare is going to be the yogurt sauce. I feel a little silly. I forgot to get dill at the store, and I practically have every other herb in my kitchen except for that. So I'm going to use parsley instead of dill, and I'm going to be using some dried mint. Although I have fresh, I'm going to use dried mint for this. And let me show you the other ingredients as well. Okay, so I'm going to be using some a yogurt, as well as cucumber, a garlic clove, dried mint, olive oil. I'm gonna do a little bit of lemon zest as well as juice and parsley. So I have a grater with a dish. I'm gonna line it with some cheesecloth and then place the lid on it. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and grate the cucumber into it. Okay, so now that my cucumber is shredded, this is just easy to pick up. You can also do this with a kitchen towel, but I do have the cheesecloth, so I'm just going to use it. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of liquid. You could put it in a green juice or just drink it. Okay, so to the bowl so far I have my yogurt, the cucumber, the parsley. I'm gonna do a pinch of salt, and I'm gonna use white pepper because I have it, but if not, you can just use some black pepper. And we're gonna grate a garlic. This is a very large clove, but you could do a large clove or a couple of small cloves. Again, this is gonna be to taste. And dried mint leaves. I'm just going to put a little to start, and then if it needs more, I will add more. And then we're going to do some lemon. Again, I'll start with this much, and then I may end up adding some. A little bit of lemon zest. And a drizzle of olive oil. And then you're going to mix this up really well and check for seasoning. I know this is going to look really thick, but it will loosen up a little bit. I think I might actually add a little more yogurt. So I made a couple of adjustments to the sauce, and I added a little bit more yogurt, a little bit more lemon juice, and a little bit more olive oil, as well as another small pinch of salt. It needs to mellow out because the garlic is quite strong, but with everything in there, it will be fine by the time dinner time comes around. But this is going to get covered and go into the fridge. I am just going to clean up the sides with a damp paper towel. And there we go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to make is a cabbage salad, and this is another pretty decent make ahead because it could stay in the fridge and just get nice and chilled. And I'm going to use a handful of ingredients to put this together. It is super simple, and again, a really great side. Okay, so for this salad, I'm going to be using red and white cabbage, as well as some curly parsley, some Aleppo pepper, and some lemon juice, as well as red wine vinegar, olive oil, salt, and pepper. Okay, so I'm going to make the dressing first, just so that I have it ready. So it'll be olive oil, red wine vinegar. I'm going to do the rest of this lemon. It's half a lemon. Okay, pinch of salt, pepper. So I'm doing black pepper and Aleppo pepper. If you don't have Aleppo pepper, you can use maybe some paprika or paprika and chili flake. Gonna do maybe, let's just say a big pinch. And then that's it. That is the dressing. So super simple. And then my cabbage, I want to slice it thinly. And I've washed a nice handful of parsley, and I'm going to just give this a rough chop. And again, slice it thinly. If you have a mandolin, you can use it. I don't, so this is just going to take me a little time. Okay, so you're going to combine the cabbage and the parsley, and then just go ahead and dress it. And toss this really well and put it in the fridge. You can also add, if you wanted, green onion to this or grated garlic. However, there's a lot of garlic going on in other dishes for tonight, so I'm just going to leave it as is. And if you wanted to taste for seasoning, go ahead and do that and adjust as needed. So here is the cabbage salad ready. It just needs to be chilled. The next thing I'm going to do is some flatbread or a type of pita bread, naan bread, however you want to call it. It's going to be a soft-ish bread, and for that I'm also going to use just a handful of ingredients. So let me show you what's going to go into this. Super simple. It's going to be all-purpose flour, some baking powder, salt, olive oil, and yogurt. So I'm going to put the dry ingredients together first. To my flour, I'm adding salt and baking powder. And then I'm going to stir to combine. As you start to incorporate the yogurt, if it feels like it's too dry, you can add a couple tablespoons of water. And you want to knead this until it comes together. So I'm kneading this in the bowl, and I am adding a little bit of cold water because the yogurt that I used is a bit thick. So I do want this a little bit more pliable, and I'm just going to continue to knead until it all comes together. It may take a few minutes. Okay, so as you can see, it's come up into a ball. I kneaded it for a few minutes, and now I want this to rest for about an hour, and I'm going to leave this on the counter and cover it with a damp kitchen cloth. The dough has rested. I'm going to knead it a little bit more and then divide it. The dough is actually much more pliable now and really easy to work with. And really smooth too. It's really nice. And as you do work one piece at a time, you're probably going to want to keep the damp cloth handy so that you can cover these other pieces. Okay. I'm portioning 8, but you can probably do up to 10, depending on the size. I am also preheating a cast iron skillet, and I want to flatten this out a bit, and I'm going to use a rolling pin, but so the pan that I'm using, I'm actually going to do the flatbreads first, and then I'm gonna cook the meat in it. Okay, so to my cast iron pan, I went ahead and put in one of my dough discs. No oil is needed, so you just want a really nice hot skillet. And this will cook on one side for about a minute or two, and then I'm going to flip it. You want it so that, of course, it gets some golden color, and it'll start to puff up on the second side and create air pockets. I have also taken the meat out of the fridge while I do this so it could come to room temperature. When it gets to be like this, that's a good sign. This is so awesome. Ooh. This one is a little dark, but that's okay. So here's the piece of meat cooking. I had drained off and patted dry the marinade, and I put it into my cast iron skillet that was preheated extremely well. As you can see, it has a nice crust on the first side. I'm cooking the second side. I'm also searing the sides as well. I'm waiting so that when I press down on the meat, it doesn't give too much. But I'm going to turn the heat off pretty soon because it will continue to cook a little bit as it rests. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I will have some notes down in the description box, as well as some maybe tips or useful items to have on hand in the kitchen. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate that. See you next time.